everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and thank you so much for supporting and encouraging and motivating me on my decluttering journey. We are now well and truly on the lead up to Christmas. Just to make you all feel much better, I haven't written out a single Christmas card. I've only bought about 4 presents and I've got about 40 to get in total. So I know some people like the real-time videos. I personally, that would bore me to tears watching somebody real-time, but each to their own. So I just thought I'd just do a little bit there which was real-time. So you can see there's a lot less Lego now in the room. All the sets which are complete or literally have 1 or 2 pieces that are needed are now been put back up into the spare room. Come the new year, we're going to buy all the missing pieces and then we'll be able to finalise the sets. So we really are getting there. Now, what's behind the door today? I hear you ask. The challenge for today is everything and anything connected to lights and light fittings. So look up, have a look to see what needs to be dusted, what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be changed. You'll see me dust inside my light fittings and my goodness, I really can notice the amount of extra light. So it really has made a big change. So far I've done the lounge, the dining room, the hall and the kitchen. I've also got light fittings upstairs that need to be done as well. But of course one of them has already been done because my husband replaced the bulb, didn't he? So that one's been sorted. So that really leaves all the bedroom lights. So let me know for the challenge how you get on. I imagine some of you are already cleaning your light fittings on a weekly basis. But for those of you that are a bit more like me, that's a challenge for today. So please let me know in the comments what you plan to do or what you've done. And if you are following along on the journey, have a look at American Wife or Cami Hell and you'll see Cami's version of the challenge. So mine's 24 days of getting tidier for Christmas in England and she's doing the American version. So if you haven't already, please do look her up and give her some support. So, with the challenge being lights and light fittings, I'm going to dust. Is that tall enough? No, it's not tall enough. That's tall enough. Careful. Oops. So you can see it's very dusty in here. Very dusty. So I need to dust around the outside. Then I need to dust the chains. To keep standing on the laptop. Don't know if this is going to work really. Dust is really thick there. Yeah, I'm just going to get the worst off using this. I've got loads more hair again. Yeah. So I'm going to get these and just dust the... Oh, that's good. So these are original to the house and I really like them. So I guess they've been up since the 1930s. Lots of dust in there. It's got quite a lot there. And lots of moths as well, by the looks of it. It's actually quite difficult to buy these now. I found there was a shop in London that had some for sale. And they're really expensive. It'd be quite good for the amount of light once I've done it. I'll get a lot more light. Yeah, but I'm not very keen on these chains. I don't like the chains much. I'd quite like to replace them. So you can see I've taken down the Alablaster light fitting and I'm dusting it all, cleaning it all, wiping it all. I'm just using an old piece of clothing actually as a duster. And then I wipe round it and then I hang it back. And now the light is shining through where some of the gaps are. Now I love these light fittings. They would have been put up probably in this house in around the 1930s and they've stayed there. We made a mistake and we did do some decorating while they were still up and then we took them down and put them somewhere to look after them. I did the decorating and then put them back. My daughter has also got one in her room, but hers is a slightly different shape. And actually we've got quite a few of the same light fittings. So we've got the lounge and the dining room. The hall is the original light fitting. My daughter's, so 4 in total that are original to the house. And they're actually really difficult to buy now. You can purchase them. There's like a shop in London we went past once, which is absolutely full of them. But they're really expensive and difficult to get hold of. The one in the lounge is perfect condition. The one in the dining room has sadly got a very tiny chip, but you can't see that until you take it down and clean it. So I'm really pleased with today's challenge. It makes a big difference to the room. And just the other day, I was saying something to my husband about it, and he said, well, what is that mark? And I said, that's dust. when I took it down, it was actually dust and moths, because when moths go in there, they then can't get back out. So good job done. I'm pleased with it. What I'm thinking about doing for the kitchen is actually I'd quite like a new light fitting. Now the reason for that, it's got that stickiness because of the grease in the kitchen. I think it's because I don't have an extractor. So if I start going up there and start trying to polish it, I don't want to put water near electricity, and I don't want all that stickiness all over my cloth. So I might have to do something slightly different there. Okay, so some of you lovely people have added comments to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to add comments. I love reading the comments. Kathleen Quinn says, great job, Emma. Windowsills are often forgotten. Quilts should work on your stain bleed through. Just let it cure for at least a day. By the way, if your plants are not doing so well on a particular windowsill, move it to another one. It might do better. Thank you for that, Kathleen. I think the problem with the little pots, the things that me and my daughter were trying to grow, is there a certain unusual type of succulents, and the chances of them getting, growing was limited anyway, and we had to keep them in a certain temperature control sort of area. They had to have plastic bags on them, and then the bags came off because we were watering them. Anyway, we didn't 100% follow the instructions correctly, so that was the main problem. Plants tend to get on best in my house in the lounge front window. That's where they seem to be happiest. CP Dot says that's exactly what quilts is made for. It serves as what you were calling undercoat to. Just add that and then put the paint on. Okay, thank you. It's good to see that get this advice. Cynthia says, hi Emma, don't know if I mentioned it or not, but since we have no stairs, we swept the front porch. For today's job, we pulled out a buffet sideboard in the dining room. There was nothing but dust and a dead bug. Well done. Dust and dead bug gone. I'm loving the fact that you call a sideboard a buffet. That's fascinating to me. Really fascinating. Sandy says, you do what you're able to, even if the videos are shorter. Don't end up in hospital again. Thank you very much. Brooke Howell says, yay, so excited that you didn't have much sitting on your dining room windowsills. We have someone come to clean our windows once a year, usually in October. What is sausage casserole? My basement bedroom is the only one that has a windowsill. Unfortunately, I can't do the challenge today because it's freezing weather with snow and curtains are tightly closed. This evening my pain also started in earnest, so I won't be doing any challenges until I feel better. Oh, Brooke, I do hope you feel better soon. How awful. Sausage casserole is really as it says. It's sausages with a casserole sauce. So onion, tomato, herbs, and then you put it in like a slow cooker or just cook it for 30 minutes. That was the only meal that I could cook when I got married. Linda Thornton says, for day 6, I had a lot of artwork that had to be stored and moved, so I did that today. I'm interested in what artwork, Linda. Do you paint or do you draw? Chaos Organised said, PS, don't feel embarrassed to have a cluttered room. Anyone that doesn't have to battle the clutter probably isn't watching. Oh, that's funny. That's very true. Okay, so in that case, should I show you the spare room? Let me just have a look how many followers I've got. I think when I get to the next big follower number, I shall do a tour of the spare room. What do you think? Holly says your little panda pot is so cute. Thank you for that, Holly. That was actually decluttered from that was decluttered from my daughter's bedroom. but I couldn't bear to let it go. It's actually a mug, but I don't know, who'd use that as a mug? You can't clean the inside of it properly. So here in the video, I've just gone back to the lounge and moved my videos around slightly because I talked a little bit too long on the last one, so I've had to move things around. So in a minute you will see how I then clean the light fitting, part of it in fast time and part of it in slow time, as your normal time. So you can see I'm just trying to tidy up all the whole lounge area, clean where all the Lego has been, sweep as much as possible. The reason why I'm using my dustbin and brush is you cannot use a stand-up hoover on the rug. My rug is too old and fragile. You can use the little handheld hoover, but that has only got so much suction power. So I'm going over it first of all with the dustbin and brush, and after I've done that I then use my little handheld hoover. And so what I'm hoping to also do today is move my TV and the TV stand. I hate that TV stand, by the way, that box. I really dislike that, but I've not found another one that I like more, which fits in that corner. But I'm going to move the TV over to one side, and then for those of you who've been watching me quite a long time, the Christmas tree goes in behind. And I love getting all of this out, but do you know, I love it when it all goes away. I absolutely love it when it all goes away. The room seems bigger, I tidy up everything, and then I welcome in springtime. So it's getting that time. I love Christmas, but I really love the new year, because it's a time for making new plans, for deciding what you're going to do for the year. It's a time to start thinking about the garden. I love it. And my plan for next year is that I definitely want to spend more time in the garden, because yes, I do love trying to get my house sorted and decluttering and sorting things, but I did miss time in the garden this year. I spent too much time inside and not enough time outside. A couple of you were asking me the other day what happened to my channel, Emma's Life in Norfolk. I just don't get time to post on there. If you haven't already followed me on that channel, I haven't got many subscribers. I think I've got 830, but please do look me up. It's Emma's Life in Norfolk, and there I post different things that I do in Norfolk and beyond, and also different things that I do in the garden, so it's a bit of a mix. So once I go through the whole of this area and sweep and then use the hoover and dust the leads, I then start trying to clear the set sofas. So yes, I do use the sofas while I'm organising things, but then I don't want Lego to be kind of on the sofas, on the table and in the big box. So I wanted to put it all there together again in one pile, but at least it's a smaller pile. Karen Howard says, can things fit under the bed in the hidden room? I'm getting lots of ads in this video. Oh, Karen, if you could really see, oh my goodness, can things fit under the bed? There is no space under the bed at all, Karen, because it is absolutely jam-packed full of things, mostly things that I've just haven't like. So for example, certain fabrics that I haven't like. I think I have done a video before where I've gone through some of this, but yeah, I've got lots of fabric, lots of stuff, just because I like it, not that I've actually got any plans to use it. So I'm picking my daughter up at normal time today. She's not going to choir at the moment. I think partly because she had so many rehearsals for her school production, and then I was really encouraging her to do the carol concert, and she did go for an audition to do one of the readings, which she did a couple of years ago, but she didn't get it. She said there were so many other girls, Mummy, and because I'd already done it once before, they rather have different people, which of course is understandable. And then I sort of was encouraging her. I said, look, you know, you might not get to be in the carol concert next year because you'll be doing your GCSEs and you'll want to cut back on some of the things. So I'd really encouraged her, and then I actually stopped and thought about it and thought, am I pushing her too much into doing this when actually she doesn't really want to? So I had this conversation with her about how, like, for example, myself, there's things in my life that I've ended up keeping on doing, which I really should have stopped. And part of it was the really good ethos my mother and father brought me up, is to never give up on something, to keep going, never give up. Now, I think that's a really, really important ethos. But also, sometimes, and not to cancel, not to give up, because that was considered, you've let yourself down. So to keep on. Now, that they are really good values to have. However, you do need to know when you need to say no and you need to stop doing something. And so when I look back, there's probably like one of my musical instruments. I kept on having lessons when really I didn't want to do it anymore. And rather than, dealing with the difficult situation of saying to the person, oh, I've decided to stop my lessons, they wouldn't have minded. That wouldn't have bothered them. But instead, I kept on going out of habit when really I didn't want to do it. So we did have this conversation. I said, because a while ago she danced. She did ballet and she did modern, and then she went just to doing ballet. And in total, she probably started when she was about 3 or 4, and she went all the way up until she was about 10, I'd say. But that got to a point, and I went into one of the rehearsals, where they get ready, and I dropped the bags, and I looked around at the other girls. All the girls that she had sort of been friendly with over the years, a lot of them had left, or they hadn't come back after COVID. There was this one girl that she had been good friends with when she was younger, and literally she's now like addicted to her smartphone. So in all the rehearsals, she was just flicking through TikTok, flick, 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 flick. And my daughter tried to make conversation, but to no avail. And then there were a couple of other girls, and I said to her, do you want to keep on going to dancing? And she was like, and for the social element of dancing is really important to her. She liked that social interaction as well as doing the dance. And so I said, well, should we have a look for a different dance school? Anyway, she stopped going. I did look for a different dance school, but the only dance school that does lessons on a Saturday were lessons in the middle of the day, like 12 till 1 or something like that. So we never got round to going back. And so I said to her, sometimes that was the right thing to do to stop dancing. And she said, yes. I said, so sometimes we do need to say no. So if you really, really do not want to do choir and you don't want to be in the carol service this year, that's absolutely fine. You did so much with the school production, you can't do everything. And so she decided, no, she doesn't want to do it this year, which I understand. You can't do everything. So just as I was then finishing a bit of recording, the postman knocked on the door really loud, and I was so excited. And one of the things he handed me was a present that I've got from my daughter, which I'm pleased that that's arrived because it's come from Holland. And then secondly, a Christmas card that's come from America. And it's come from a family that we're friends with. And do you know, it's incredible the people that you meet. So I met my friend Barbara on a Facebook group because our children, I think it was a group that Barbara had set up, our children are born in the same year, in the same month. Now, I'm very strict on who I have friends on Facebook, and I don't like more than 100 friends, because the people that I want on Facebook are people that I, consider friends, and that the people that are very similar to me or family. Either people I see regularly or people like distant family that live in America or family that live in Essex that I want to keep in touch with and see what's going on in their lives. Anyway, somehow, and I can't think how, I became friends with Barbara on Facebook. So that's very unusual for me to have not met somebody and then to have them as a Facebook friend. And we've kept in touch, all this time. And as our children have grown up, and she's got other children as well. But it's been so lovely to get to know her and her family and just sort of share different things within our lives. She's absolutely incredible mother, and so many things in terms of the way that she, as a parent and a wife, sets such a good example to other people. And you can learn from people like that. What I absolutely love is how she prioritises the children. And, work and other things, yes, they're important, but number one is the children. And I just think that's incredible. And yeah, so as I was saying, I just got a Christmas card with lovely, cute little pictures and stickers. So I'm so excited about receiving that. So thank you so much, Barbara. And this one has got a tiny little chip, unfortunately, but you can't actually see the chip when it's up. I think I'm going to use the Hoover again for that. Lynn Williams says, "Hi Emma, I am from Ontario, Canada, and our older homes, I would say 75 years plus, have beautiful wide windowsills, but the homes since that point have few sills, if any. And that got me thinking really about our new builds in the United Kingdom. I don't know what the windowsills are like, and whether they can be used for plants or whether they're really thin. I'm really not sure." Angela Wag says, "Day 6, dust behind furniture, clean behind and under my floor saucepan stand. Having the day off tomorrow, so I will do 7 and 8 on Monday. Hopefully they are small challenges." Well done, Angela. Great work. Vanessa Accessible says, "Hi Emma, I think you're getting the declutter bug. You seem to have had your got it moments. How your home feels with less stuff and it's easier to clean. What I do with my cards is keep the ones from family and close friends, but I will throw it away when I receive the one the new following year. So when someone passes away, I still have their handwriting and sentiments. I still have the last Christmas card from my best friend. She died suddenly at the age of 36, 1996. I read her card and others every year and say a little prayer for all of them." Oh, that's lovely, and it's a good idea so you don't end up with loads and loads and loads. And it is lovely to think you've got the last card from your best friends. How sad, but how lovely that you say a prayer. I did think that when I opened one of the cards from, there was a little note from my aunt that died a few years ago, and there was a card from an aunt and uncle. It makes you think, doesn't it? Really does, makes you think. So I decided to do a slightly different angle for this video so you could see the room from a slightly different perspective. I've got the plant hanger there, which really, as there's no plant on that, and there hasn't been for quite some time, I should really think about putting that away, shouldn't I? Put that somewhere else. There's no point at sitting there with no plant on it. It's funny how when I do these videos, I suddenly see things that I don't otherwise think about. It's weird, when you look through a camera lens, you see things differently. So my main tasks here were just to clear the sofa, put things away, put the Lego that's staying in the room at the moment, put that all in one place. I've got some paperwork there on the floor that I need to sort through an action. And then I needed to just sort out the cushions. Now I had put some pillows, some cushions on my, not pillows, cushions, on my list. Now the inside of the cushions is no good. That's really past it. So I was thinking I'll get some new cushions, the inside and the outside. And I put some on the list and I'd shown my husband and daughter and they both said they were nice. And then as I sat here thinking about it, I suddenly realised how they don't at all go with the fireplace. So I think I'm going to take them off the list. I don't think I'm going to ask for them after all. Which is a bit of a shame because they're really soft and fluffy and lovely and green. But my fireplace, not that I want to match with the fireplace, more of a contrast. What I don't want to do is get a green cushion which looks like I'm trying to match the tiles of the fireplace, and they don't. Anyway, I'm right at the very end of my video now, so thank you very, very much for following along. Thank you for your comments, your likes and your hypes, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!